Here with us is Portland Police Union President Aaron Schmautz. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So Measure 110, which decriminalized drug use in Oregon, it led to soaring overdose rates, hobbled by implementation issues. Can you talk to us about the issues in your state?
The real challenge with Measure 110 is at its origin, it was more of a referendum on law enforcement. It was more about concerns about over-policing of certain communities. And what we saw then was a lot of stripping of the ability of law enforcement to respond to the crises we're seeing on the street. Fentanyl has washed over our communities. We're having record overdose deaths from kids in high school all the way up to parents in their homes. It really is, people on the street. It's just a really significant crisis, and that led to the changing of this law.
So how did that affect the quality of life for ordinary Americans, ordinary people in the state of Oregon?
Well, I think a lot of just kind of everyday Oregonians saw drug and addiction issues just kind of spill out in front of them in like every way. Again, we had kids overdosing in high schools. We had, parents complaining about not being able to take their kids to a park. We had businesses having a hard time opening and then struggling getting foot traffic because of the open air blight that we saw on our streets.
You mentioned 110 was more of an implementation when it comes to police enforcement. So does repealing the measure signal that voters want police to be more engaged than they did in 2020?
So this is the real challenge. And just to be clear, the bill wasn't repealed. It was kind of changed. But the real challenge from our perspective is many people who work for community-based organizations, elected officials, still worry about law enforcement's role. And yet law enforcement is being asked to kind of be the vector to get people to care. And so there's a lot of dissonance around what law enforcement's role is, particularly in Portland. And it really is very challenging. Our officers are facing record low numbers of resources. We are about 800 officers short. Violent crime in our cities has skyrocketed. And so this very significant health issue, law enforcement is kind of being thrust back into the spotlight. There's also a lot of concerns about people overdosing or dying in custody. It just is a really significant problem.
So how are these issues that you discussed going to be addressed in the wake of this measure's rollback, again, that went into effect back in 2020?
In our county, so each county through Measure 4002 was the House bill that changed Measure 110. Each county in the state was basically directed to create some sobering, create some opportunity for people to get deflection, which basically is a movement away from the criminal justice system. Our system was supposed to be ready to go today. It is not. As a result, there's a mobile system that's available. But again, law enforcement's role in society is abating crises on our street. And so when people are calling and people are either in crisis or they're high or they're needing help, most of the people that we interact with are likely going to end up going to jail. The question is then what happens as far as what resources are available.
Yeah, that opens up a whole new host of problems. Yesterday was International Overdose Awareness Day, which underscores the fact, as you know as well as I do, that the drug crisis has no borders. But what are the takeaways from Oregon's experience with drug decriminalization that the rest of the country can possibly learn from?
I think drug dealers, addiction, reality, it's a commodity, and people are going to adjust to changing laws. Taking away law enforcement's ability to interdict, all it's going to do is create what you're seeing on the screen right now. Because at the end of the day, drug dealers, people who wish to savage people with fentanyl, to continue to allow people to suffer, they're going to adjust their practices. And so law enforcement, our job is to interdict. It is to ensure that when people are committing crimes, that we can get them where they need to go. But when you change the rules and you take away law enforcement's authority and ability to interdict, you're going to create crisis.
You and I, just a moment ago, were talking about the alternatives to jail time for drug users. You visited Portugal, where decriminalizing drug possession led to lower levels of drug abuse. Why did it work there, in your opinion, and not in your state of Oregon?
Well, the big reality is fentanyl, P2P style meth, and firearms don't exist in Portugal. But from a practice standpoint, kind of the nugget that we can take away, their response is a whole of government response. In America, and in particularly in Oregon, we lean very heavily on nonprofits, which aren't audited, which aren't held accountable the way that the government holds itself accountable. And at the end of the day, we have significant kind of mission drift.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.